You've never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Oh, my.
Tony, the year is 1992. Two iconic directors of their era bring their vastly differing feature debuts to the Sundance Film Festival for 1993.
Okay.
These two filmmakers, having very different projects in both scope and budget, strike a chord with each other. Not only did they love one another's films, but they also found a certain kinship in their general bond over being cinephiles. 4 years later, these two would collaborate to write and direct one of the most bonkers, entertaining crime films ever made. Tony, welcome to the year of genre filmmaking, and welcome one and all back to the year of genre filmmaking. That intro was a bit short, but it'll become a bit more apparent once I start talking about this a little more. I'm gonna go ahead early on and give you the film canister of destiny.
All right, we're jumping right into it, boys and girls, and non-binary pals and all those. Come on, Kodak, give it up. All right, now I've been told. Oh, there's a gimmick. Oh, there's a gimmick, everybody. All right, let's just see who's winning the Emmys this year. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Today I will be showing Tony the Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino classic 1996's From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah.
I have been and continuing to be a bit more secretive with this film today by, as you have seen, not even showing the case on screen, because in my opinion, both the marketing, the poster, everything about this movie is given away too much before you have even had the chance to watch it in the first place.
It just spoils all the fun.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just find that to be a bit of a wet blanket. I would prefer if we watched this just the way I did back in the day, on the Wii, on Netflix, going in completely blind, only knowing about this being a crime film. This is the fourth feature film by director Robert Rodriguez, and this is the third film he shot within a 1 year period. While it was not released in 1995, where he shot El Desperado and the sections for 4 Rooms, he shot all of these in about 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
Which is fucking bananas and crazy. This is his first collaboration with his longtime friend and alumni of the show, Mr. Quentin Tarantino, who not only co-leads this film, but also wrote the film, and it was one of his first screenplays that he ever sold. As I've already said, Mr. Tarantino co-stars, giving, in my opinion, the best performance of his small acting career, but this is also the feature debut of one Mr. George Clooney. This very much plays against type for him, and is a breath of fresh air in comparison to the rest of his career, in my opinion. That is not to call his performance and anything else he's really ever done bad, but Clooney falls into the camp of many modern, handsome film actors who are just far too good looking to be character actors for their day. Brad Pitt also falls within this camp. This movie also stars Harvey Keitel, who you may remember from several movies like Mean Streets by Martin Scorsese. He also plays the Wolf in Pulp Fiction and is one of the leads in Reservoir Dogs. Besides this being a crime movie, I know I have kept this vague over the years. Tony, what do you know about From Dusk Till Dawn?
Dusk Till Dawn. Until Dawn is a good song by that one guy who does the fucking voice for fucking...
So, nothing. Everyone, I've kept this as vague as possible, so why don't you go ahead, sit back, relax, and remember, keep cool. Keep very fucking cool.
Somewhere in the middle of nowhere, 2 of America's most dangerous criminals are headed for the border.
Earlier today, during a daylight liquor store robbery in Big Springs, the Gecko brothers killed another Texas Ranger. That changes the death toll to 16.
One night is all that stands between them and freedom.
Now, this is my kind of place.
But it's going to be one hell of a night. From Robert Rodriguez. From Quentin Tarantino. dawn.
Tony, we went down to El Rey. At least one of us escaped from those vampiric fucks in the titty twister. Would you like to give myself, the audience, everyone perhaps that hasn't seen this, or if you haven't seen this and you're already here and you watched that fucking trailer, fuck you, you should have watched the movie. A plot summary from Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino's 1996 cult horror classic, From Dusk Till Dawn.
I still can't get over that I'm fucking broken.
You were broken from the beginning, you're Tarantino.
Plot synopsis. Two bastard men fucking go on a crime spree. They pick up a couple of hostages along the way. Shit goes wrong. They have to pick up new hostages. Their whole plan is they're going to make it on their way down to Mexico. Right? They're idiots, but they're violent idiots, so they make do.
What did I tell you? What did I say to you? I said, buy the road map and leave. What the fuck am I supposed to do, Seth? Recognize this. He didn't recognize shit.
You've got this family that's on this trip. They're trying to get away from everything on account of the fact that their mother's died. This family's kind of like broken. It's this preacher father who's kind of like
Ex-preacher father.
Yeah, ex-preacher father who's like losing his faith.
Well, it's just that all our lives you've been a pastor. And then one day you're just gonna wake up and say, fuck him?
I didn't say fuck him.
And they're gonna go solve this by yelling at each other in a camper van, which is a great solution to the problem. Their paths cross. They end up in Mexico through shenanigans at the border. And you think like, okay, this is about where you're like, what else could happen for the next 30 to 40 minutes? You go inside the titty twister, and you're thinking, okay, it's just gonna be shenanigans for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, however fucking long. And they're gonna bond together as people and maybe change some hearts. Nope! We're gonna tear hearts out of bodies because this is not the movie you thought it was. This is a fucking vampire zombie flick, which is fucking insane.
Tony, what did you think of From Dusk Till Dawn?
From Dusk Till Dawn is a really cool movie. I like it a lot. It's my favorite example so far of, you know, how can you top yourself, and then how can you further top yourself as a movie, as like a piece of art, right? Yeah. They set the stakes pretty fucking high to begin with. You know, we're at like the height of like a Dog Days Afternoon with these two people with a, you know, things are already fucking crazy.
Everybody be cool. You be cool.
We're already burning down like liquor stores and blowing people's heads off, and you're like, okay.
If this was a normal crime movie, we would be about the middle of the second act with these two brothers. We're starting in the midst of their crime spree, which we're getting bits and pieces of as the first act is being set up.
Mm-hmm. It kind of lulls you into like, okay, this is going to be just the pattern for the movie going forward, and you know, we're going to see what's going to happen later. I don't know, but you just kind of don't expect what's going to happen until maybe you're like in the titty bar. Mm-hmm. You're just seeing like these people that are getting like extra focus in the crowd, and you're like, okay, how are they going to come into the story? Like, you got a guy with a cock for a gun. And then, of course, you've just got, like, random black trucker kung fu demon master from Nam, who's just the coolest motherfucker I've ever seen.
Character actors. All character actors, Tom Savini, makeup artists, motherfuckers who in this industry Robert Rodriguez has a close kinship with, and obviously people like Rodriguez and Tarantino idolize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're thinking like, okay, we're introducing these new characters, things are getting fucking violent, and you're like, what is going to be the thing? And without stopping to take a fucking breath, the movie is like, okay, vampires.
Yes, because it's putting you in the perspective of these characters. Mm-hmm. And, you know, George Clooney, I think, has probably the best reaction to this.
I just rammed a wooden stake into my brother's chest because he turned into a vampire. Even though I don't believe in vampires. Aside from that unfortunate business, everything is hunky-dory.
And it's just like, all right, well, fuck, we're in a different movie now.
We are? Yes.
But also not, because shit carries over.
What I think is so cool about this is what would make this a bad movie, right? Is if the film proceeded to, like, be about vampires, but then thematically carried nothing over. What you don't realize is every piece of this seemingly random puzzle of these people sort of being put together has all sort of culminated in what this movie is about. This is a group of people who are all really fucked up in their own particular way. Fucked up maybe because, like, you know, you have the preacher and his family. They're all sort of, like, disenfranchised with each other. His faith has been lost. He doesn't know what the fuck his life is anymore, and he's just completely lost. You have the Gecko brothers, your character that you are dressed up as right now, that I put you in this monkey suit.
Thank you for doing that to me, by the way. Thanks a lot.
He's a great character. I'm sorry.
Put some atrocious footage over this.
Richie, would you do me a favor and eat my pussy for me, please?
Sure.
Richie Gecko, who is my favorite performance in the movie. I think Tarantino's fucking phenomenal in this. We'll get more into that later. Richie Gecko, his whole thing is that he's just a really fucked up, mentally ill dude. And he has an older brother who is convinced that, I don't know how he got this way. How did my brother get so violent? I don't know what he watched you, bro.
I don't kill people that I don't have to, and I don't fucking rape women. What you are doing is not how it's done. Do you understand that? Do you just say fucking yes? Say yes, Seth, I understand. Yes, Seth, I understand. Say yes, Seth, I fucking understand.
Seth Gecko, George Clooney's character, is a violent, easy to anger, easy to fucking put in a full psychotic rampage kind of motherfucker. And these two are like fucking dynamite wicks towards each other.
Yeah.
And any sort of anger is like a flame, and they'll fucking get set off immediately. And these are all people in their lives who lack like a basic kind of control, because they're trying to control everything that goes on around them. Seth does not want to go back to jail.
Yeah.
He used his mentally ill brother to break him out of prison. And he does not want to go back to jail. You know, Seth and Richie's relationship kind of reminds me a lot of Robert Pattinson and Benji Safdie's relationship in Good Time.
You forget about that movie. And
Yeah.
you think about it, you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, and it's this sort of very abusive relationship, and you get into this whole thing to where it's like he has no control over anything. And the ultimate bit of no control is when you get put in this situation and fucking vampires show up.
Yeah.
So all of them, whether this is meant to be like a literal thing or not, must submit to a higher power. And realize we have no control over this situation, and this is the only way any of us are going to survive through the night.
Are you a faithless preacher? Or are you a mean motherfucking servant of God?
It's dead simple.
Yeah.
But man, it works. And the way Tarantino writes scripts is, and he's talked about this over the years, is like a movie like Reservoir Dogs. He did not write this script with the intention of it kind of being this weird father-son story. And then he talked about that is the only time I've ever discovered midway through a script what the theme was, and it's the only time I'm ever going to do that. He writes scripts, and then people figure out the themes later, because that is, in his mind, is not his job. I don't necessarily agree with that way of writing scripts, but who am I to tell him
Oh, yeah.
how to write this? And the screenplay, as a result, is fucking phenomenal and thematically cohesive. I already explained in the opening how I found this movie. You know, I was on the Wii Netflix back in the day, on my analog tube television, like a little 10-incher in my room.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was looking through Netflix at all the Tarantino films, because I didn't, you know, I had the internet, but I wasn't going Googling being like, oh, well, what's every Tarantino movie?
Yeah.
And I was just looking with stuff he was involved in, and he was on the poster. And generally speaking, I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, he's probably involved in, like, the writing process in some way. I knew who Robert Rodriguez was by name, but I hadn't really watched too much of what he had done. Like, outside of directing the kids' films that I grew up with that he watched. So, finding this movie and finding it without context of what the fuck the actual movie is, you know, it just was this breath of fresh air. Like I said, it just rewired how I could make movies. It was just this feeling of like, oh, you can just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Movies are not limited to what they need to be based on, like, the outside of the box. And, you know, it's this unfortunate thing to where the movie was marketed, in my opinion, kind of incorrectly.
Yeah.
I think the genius thing to do with this film would have been to advertise it as the crime movie it is for the first hour.
Yeah.
And then in the theater kind of flip that. You know, I don't think this belongs in the horror section at a Blockbuster. and that would kind of be the thing. And if your audience fucks with it, then cool. But if they don't fuck with it, then, well, you know, sucks to suck. That's kind of how I...
You got an hour of something else. You're fine. You're fine.
And to me, I think that's just what makes the film so great, and why I specifically chose it this year out of trying to figure out a place to put it for the prior 3 seasons. Why I chose to put it in the year of genre filmmaking. Because what this movie does with genre is it just kind of proves that, like, genre, as long as you're telling a good story, is just a tool. It doesn't need to be this advertising thing that, like, you use to fucking, like, make people see a movie. And maybe you could get them in the door by advertising it as another Tarantino crime flick, you know. Reservoir Dogs had come out. Pulp Fiction had come out already by this point. That's how you get people in the door, you know, by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. You know, they're 2 big names in indie film at this point. Genre, as far as, like, how important it is, I guess it is important, but ultimately I don't think it really matters towards, like, the core of what this movie is doing.
Yeah.
Tarantino, for this script, I believe this was like a commission thing where he was hired to write a vampire script. And he made this with it.
It's, no, it is really interesting to look at it that way. It's, you know, genre kind of, like, acts as a rule for most people, but, like, with most rules, or quote-unquote rules in art, you can break it if you know what the fuck you're doing. You know, you don't have to stay within the standard 12-note scale of modern music if you want to make something. You know, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard does that whole thing where they just kind of break the rules every now and again. But that's because they're fucking wizards and they know what they're doing. They trained and practiced and tried a lot of things. And this is just kind of like an extension of that. You can break a rule as long as you know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. You can always say, like, so-and-so doesn't follow the rules and their art is great. Well, you kind of have to know where you're getting at, I guess.
And Tarantino, you know, he's the perfect example of a student of film without going to film school. And there are a lot of people who try and do that mindset without understanding that, like, Tarantino took a lot of these lessons to heart and how you're supposed to make a movie, and he was in the right era in the right time to get studio funding to do that kind of stuff. And he wrote this before he ever directed a movie. That's kind of the big thing. And I guess with that, we need to get into the overlooked aspect of this film, because Tarantino, I feel like, gets put in the forefront quite a lot. Robert fucking Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez, the god man of the DIY film.
Yes.
You know, I went and I showed you El Mariachi, and I kind of explained to you, and I'll explain to the audience real quick, of the production of that movie. It was a small budget thing that he shot in a border town over in Mexico that he would visit every summer and make little home movies with his friend. For the first time, they went and shot something on 16 millimeter, and it's just a little small, like, riff on the first Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
It's entirely in Spanish, and it's just about a guy who finds a guitar case full of guns and gets involved with shit that he couldn't, and it turns into a big tragedy. And it's just a really solid, cool little revenge thriller flick. And then he goes to sell it to the Mexican video market like he was planning on doing, and it was going to be great, and he was going to go, and he edited it on a VCR. He edited it with 2 VCRs from the 16 millimeter thing, and that's what he used to sell and pitch it. And eventually this gets picked up during a film festival circuit and gets picked up by a separate distributor. This film distributor goes and is like, oh, well, you know, if you can like re-edit this. If you have the basic negative file, which he didn't have, you can re-edit this.
Yeah.
And turn it into... So he went and copied his edit off of the VHS tape and re-edited it with the new negative onto film.
Yeah.
Based off of his VHS edit. And this is where I think you need to get into, like, Robert Rodriguez's major talent. He then does Desperado, which is like a quasi-sequel, quasi-remake of the original. He recast the lead role with Antonio Banderas, and it's a great, fun, gonzo, batshit movie.
Yeah.
Love Desperado. Lots of stuff from Desperado tonally carries over from Till Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Then you get a Tarantino script. And in the words of Rodriguez, it's like I was given gold. Because Rodriguez, talks about how he goes, like, I love writing and he loves making movies, but he says, like, Tarantino is just a better writer than him.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes Robert Rodriguez so good is he's just proficient. And he can shoot for exactly what he knows he needs to because he's an editor and he edited this.
Yeah.
And he edits all of his own movies. So it's like, he storyboards. He does all these things and they're super basic, but it's because in his head, he knows how this is all going to come together.
Yeah.
And that opening scene alone is this tour de force in fucking editing. And what makes him such a great director. There are just all these, like, fucking minute cuts that are happening to ratchet up the tension as Seth and Richie are arguing about whether or not this guy is lying about snitching to the police in this opening scene.
Start the car, all right? Start the car. Start the car. You know that? Shut the fuck up and start the car.
Wait.
I believe you. Start the car.
You're not just saying it. You do believe.
I believe you. Let's go.
We're getting all these, like, slow just cut pushing on the fucking safe as it's being opened and everything. And that whole sequence is just so well edited that maybe there's some continuity errors, but who fucking gives a shit? Like, that's the thing. It's just like you're so caught up in this energy that any small, minute flaws that maybe you wouldn't overlook in, like, a less, like, tension-heavy edit don't matter anymore. Because it's so just well assembled. And I think that's Rodriguez's, like, biggest talent as a director. Is he gets what he needs to. He doesn't shoot for coverage.
Yeah.
He just shoots a very lean, slim movie, and this movie comes at over just 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's fucking impressive, especially considering what Tarantino's whole mantra would go on to be later, which is, he makes these big 2.5, 3 hour fucking movies.
I think to get to that place, you really do have to go through the gauntlet, right?
Yeah, and he fucking did.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, let's stop and really fucking think about, like, re-editing an entire fucking movie from beginning to end, just like looking back and forth from your VCR to your proper editing rig, because you're like, I gotta do it again. I already have it right here.
yeah.
The tedium alone drives me insane just thinking about that, and I barely edited in my life. Colin, I don't... it sounds insane.
Yeah, and this is all pre-digital. And Rodriguez has just talked about, like, the blessing that digital was for him and how important. Granted, I do think his movies in certain areas got less good when he stopped working with analog.
Yeah.
Because it did open up that freedom. But then also, movie that I know is important that I haven't watched because I'm a fake chud is like, I haven't seen Sin City. But I also know that movie is like the embodiment of, I can do anything now. Fuck yes. And he makes this awesome Frank Miller adaptation that I still need to watch. And he just is, he asked the question, well, why doesn't it look like the comic book? And then he just did it with a bunch of A-listers.
You gotta fucking go through the ringer if you want to make that kind of shit.
Yeah. And, I talked about themes earlier, but I do want to get into a bit more specifically themes, characters, and how that relates together, and I guess characters will get into casting. The theme of this movie kind of being about faith and religion and fully submitting yourself to a higher power. Never in my life would I think to cast Harvey Keitel as a, lost in his ways, lost in his faith preacher. But when you think about it and you think about the themes of something like Mean Streets, it actually kind of makes sense. He plays Judas in our other Scorsese movie that he was in, that we talked about on the show.
Yeah. Our longest episode.
Yeah, our longest episode, which should have been cut down severely in our most viewed episode.
Somehow.
Whatever. He plays Judas. And it's like, you think about it, then it's like, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. And on the opposite end of that spectrum, you have Clooney, who would never play a role like this again. Clooney has been very insulted by Tarantino making a statement by him. Theme of Tarantino, foot and mouth man, literally and figuratively. Tarantino, has made his big statement before. It's what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is all about. It is a movie about how the movie star died. George Clooney, along with everyone else, considered himself a movie star. He is a modern movie star.
Yeah.
I think George Clooney is a very talented actor. To me, the last real movie star that exists is Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And that's just what is the case for me. George Clooney is very talented, but I will not go to see a movie just because George Clooney is in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he doesn't have that capability, but George Clooney falls into this camp of actors, much like I brought up earlier, like Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, all these people, which is a bit more traditionally attractive actors who really should be character actors.
Yeah.
George Clooney, would go on to play Batman a couple years after this, and it's the role that, he's like, oh, it almost ruined my career. George Clooney's not the problem with Batman and Robin. In fact, I think he's quite funny in it, and I think he could seriously work as like an Adam West kind of Batman. The thing that makes him work well in this, which I feel like goes against even his type when he plays a character like the lead in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Is like normally I think he works in a similar way to like Ryan Gosling, where Ryan Gosling is really good at playing like dumb himbos.
Sublime!
There's a little bit of that even in La La Land. But, movies like, The Fall Guy, Barbie is the obvious fucking example of that. And in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, he's playing an idiot.
Say, Cousin Wash, I suppose it'd be the acme of foolishness to inquire if you had a hairnet.
In this, Tarantino gives him a meal to play with. Yes, he's funny, but he's also, like, kind of evil.
Yeah.
He's just this fucking disgusting scumbag who thinks he's a better person because his brother
is
also evil, but he's like chaotic evil. And like, to me, I'm like, no, Clooney should not be insulted that Tarantino said you're not a movie star. He should take that and be like, well, what kind of roles would make me stretch my wings? Because I do think this movie makes him stretch his wings. And as far as a feature debut, you gotta be in a cool crime movie by like written by one of the hottest directors in the industry right now. And you gotta be in a cool schlock movie.
Yeah. You got 2 for 1.
Yeah. And with that, we get into Tarantino. There's lots to be said about Tarantino in this movie. He has been called bad and said he has been given a terrible performance in this movie.
Hi, I'm from room 11, and me and my lady friend need some ice, and we don't seem to have an ice bucket. If it's not too much trouble, could I possibly borrow yours? I'll bring it right back.
What do you think about that, Tony?
When I think about Quentin Tarantino's, he does exactly what he needs to do for this role, right? It's not something that's written for him, from what you've told me, right?
That I do want to get into that real quick. It's like, everyone is just like, oh, Tarantino wrote this role where he gets to suck tequila off of Salma Hayek's foot. And I'm like, yes, that's still in the movie, and he still gets to do that. But also, there are a lot of foot freaks in Tarantino films. And for me, I'm like, well, no, he didn't write this movie for himself. He wrote it for who ended up becoming this movie's makeup artist, Robert Kurtzman.
Yeah.
Like, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, well, that was not written for him. And then Robert Kurtzman said, it was a combination of like, I don't really have time to prep for that, and I don't really have an interest in acting like that at this point in my life. And they were, Tarantino was kind of freaking out because he was a producer on this movie. Yeah. And then suddenly, Robert Rodriguez is like, you could do it, Quentin. Because they're buddies.
Get up there with your weird hair and fucking suck tequila off toes, bro.
And to me, it's like, I guess I watch him in this movie, and like, I think Tarantino, generally speaking, is a lot better of an actor than people give him credit for.
Okay.
And for me with this, oh, the role's just perfect for him.
What the fuck is that about?
You signaled the ranger.
I did it! You gotta believe me, I did it!
When they were talking, he mouthed the words, help us.
You fucking liar! I didn't say
Would you shut the hell up?
I can't imagine anyone else in this movie, to the point that when they did eventually do a remake TV show of this movie and turn it into like a multi-season thing, when they cast a really traditionally attractive dude as Richie, I'm just like,
It'll work.
no, Tarantino is not just good at playing like a freak in this, but I buy him as someone who legitimately just is this guy, and not just because, joking that, oh, he's Tarantino. I buy him in this.
Yeah.
There's never a false note in this movie.
You shoot the bottles out from behind him. Oh, yeah!
And on top of that, there are just little Tarantino-isms that I guess you could call bad deliveries. But to me, I'm like, well, no, that's just like a quirk of his character. The way he fucking asks for the ice bucket towards Harvey Keitel at his door, I promise I'll bring it right back.
It's giving the energy of a psycho that is like just barely holding on. Just by like the threads in his hand, basically.
Yeah, and the fucking whole thing to where it's like he views women as objects to use and then dispose of. And it's fucking horrific and disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's like that whole sequence of him like looking up the first like receptionist or bank teller that they held hostage. Yeah. They're holding her hostage in like their hotel room, and he tells them like, don't fucking touch her, don't say anything. And the minute Seth leaves, Richie like sits down and he's like, come sit next to me on the bed, take your shoes off, come on. They come back and you get one of my favorite edited sequences, which is just a slow push-in when Clooney, at first asks him, like, where the fuck is she? What? Where the fucking hostage, where is she?
Yeah.
And then you get that slow push-in with just the visual of, like, 2 frames cut in.
Yeah.
Every few seconds where you get glimpses of the gore that fucking Richie just fucking caused, and he just gets up in him. But that's the first inkling you get of just how much of a violent piece of shit Seth is, not just under a situation of stress. He's pushing Richie against the door, being like, "Why are you like this? Why are you like this?" And as an audience, you're just like,
it plays into this whole thing of like you said, like control and knowing that there are some things that you can't control and have to let go of shit. It's like your brother is a weirdo, fucking psycho rapist. And you're gonna have to kill him by the end of this. That's gonna be your arc.
Yeah, realistically, someone like Richie should probably just be locked up in a mental hospital. It's
yeah. But getting back to Tarantino's like thing, I think the main thing I want to talk about his performance is just that the role he's playing is a thankless role.
Yes,
right? It is very difficult to get in front of a camera and be the worst kind of bastard man that you could fucking imagine. Especially when it touches on some things that, especially in American culture, are like very, very like taboo, like any kind of like sexual anything.
Yeah.
If you pitched at me like, hey, Tony, you want to come and be a fucking rapist?
You want to be a rapist and a pedophile?
And a weird fucking fetishistic guy and do all kinds of weird shit, I'd probably hesitate. I'd want to read a little bit about what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
That's not something that you can just shove onto anybody, which makes that situation where he's got to play this role all the more fucking difficult. You can't, there's no like turning it around and finding some other guy to come and do this sort of thing. You need someone that is like distinctive in their acting. You need someone who is distinctive the way that they look. And you need somebody who's willing to do some weird shit. Some very, very thankless work.
I guess this could come off as an insult, but I don't mean it this way. His look is perfect. Like, he just has this face when he's, like, staring women down and everything. And he'll just get those, like, little lines in. It's just like, Seth tells him to put his fucking, his, like, Invisalign in. And he goes, like,
I grind my teeth.
and he just says it like really quietly and everything, and he'll have these just hallucinatory moments where women are being like inviting towards him. So it's like almost this little hint of like, oh, you're not there.
Yeah, you are like fucked in a way that I can't possibly understand.
Yeah, you brought this up earlier. All the tiny little character actor roles. I already brought up Tom Savini, makeup artist on Dawn of the Dead. All these famous fucking things. And he's not doing the makeup for this movie. He just gets to have fun being this like weird sex-crazed biker with the El Desperado penis gun.
Yeah.
Like put onto him, and he's a fucking delight. Sex Machine is like one of the best things about this movie, and he gets to have the thing moment.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to hide like himself. He gets to have like the big zombie movie moment.
Yeah.
And he's fucking great. The fellow who is a nom, put his name right here. He's just a dork. And I love him, and I love when he's about to go into his nom speech. That's when we're intercutting with stuff because the movie is telling you it's not important.
Is any of this real? Probably not.
And he's fucking funny. Your one sight gag in particular that you really liked while we were watching it was when he's doing the dominoes and the fucking strippers are on top of the table and they're knocking it over, and he just looks like. There's aesthetics, and that fits into like cinematography. This movie is beautifully fucking shot, mostly on location. You have just a lot of these really hot, dank, disgusting Texas and Mexico locations that look like they're going to make your fucking skin melt. But then, you know, after that, you get sort of like the climactic area of the movie, the Titty Twister, one of the best locations in cinematic history. And it's this beautiful, intricate set that if you know going in, this is a vampire movie, you're like, oh, well, it's like a fucking tomb on the inside. But if you don't, it's just like, oh, this is really cool, like, aesthetic design and everything. Can't show too much of that during the big wide shots because of the sheer amount of titties, but...
Yeah, on account of the Titty Twister.
Yes.
No, it's really cool how that's set up. It's kind of like when you see a big open area in a fucking video game, and you're like, oh, some shit's gonna go down here. You just get that vibe from the place. It's just really nice.
Now, I don't know. It's not like the actual use of this piece of filmmaking is really too prominent in this. However, there are certain paid things that are used that do really make it stick out. Tony, are you having a dark night? A dark night on Tony's Musical Hour. What is your opinion, Tony, on the use of music in this, whether it be the diegetic or non-diegetic and the like needle drops and everything?
Well, sir, this is the situation, right? With any movie that does lots of pre-established music, right? If you're just like licensing shit out, there's always the worry that you're gonna fucking tonally just not get it, right?
Yeah.
There's always the worry that you're just putting stuff in there because it sounds cool. We've already gone through this whole thing, the whole idea of like, characters on screen, so we'll fucking put the literal description of that character because it's in the song and it fits. Like, whoa. Yeah. But no, that's not a problem whenever I see Quentin Tarantino attached to something. It never is. This motherfucker has the most amazing taste in music.
The song Dark Knight, as I've already addressed, by the band The Blasters, which I have played that song for you with no context in the car.
It's a baller song.
It's
a good song. You don't need context.
Yeah,
it's good.
Fucking great.
Yeah, no, you've got that. You've got like a lot of these Spanish songs, whether they're made for the thing or they're licensed out for the thing. I don't know. I don't care. They're fucking awesome. Some dude plays it on a dead man as a guitar. It's great. Yeah, it's a match made in heaven as far as music goes. These two, they know what the fuck they're doing.
100%. I would be remiss not just to give the man credit. Tony, he made a section in an anthology film. He made El Desperado, and he made this movie, as I said, all in a span of like 9 months. What the fuck kind of coke is Robert Rodriguez doing? I'll tell you what it is. Inspiration and passion. Man Without a Crew, if you have not read that book, fucking cover right here, read that shit if you at all want to get into filmmaking. It is one of the most inspiring fucking things in the world. I just like, I am so bewildered by this man's stamina.
Yeah.
And his ability to get shit done. Because if I had made this and shot this over the course of like a couple months, I would be not good for the rest of my life, but I would feel that high.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything else I made. Well, I made From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
So fuck you.
Yeah, I'm that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this shit.
But not only that, he made this, brought Antonio Banderas over to the United States and made like El Desperado. And we appreciate you for that.
Yeah, you brought us a beautiful man.
Beautiful man with long flowing hair in that movie.
It's fucking great in lots of things.
So, that I think is really important. And I guess, question like I had to you before. Tony, does genre matter?
Let me be a contradictory asshole and say, yes, it matters.
Yeah.
None of what you've said is No, once again, it comes into that thing of like, it only matters as much as you need it to.
Yeah.
It only really makes sense or affects what you want it to, I guess.
Yeah.
It could be purely for marketing. It could be purely for like trying to get a pitch across the table, or it could be like a framework for your thing. Like, this could be like a really great challenge for a filmmaker. Oh, hey, how could I make a fucking crime drama or like a fucking action flick type thing somehow develop into like a zombie vampire movie? How can I fucking make that happen?
Yeah.
That's all interesting and well and good, but I think at the base you still need like a story, a theme, like a fucking thing that you're trying to do and to get across, and that's the important part,
Yeah, and sort of everything else, this genre trappings that we're using are just sort of being used to drape all the themes and the story across the actual plot of A to B to C to vampires. Like, it doesn't really matter, but then it's like, thematically, it's like, okay, we're making a movie about like a religious person. By the end, he's fighting this satanic hell horde, and they literally look like they're in hell by the end of the movie. It all works together and fits. And while, I do have my opinion that I ultimately don't think genre matters in a capitalistic sense, which is what our film industry unfortunately exists in, or I think genre matters is sort of like your ability to like manipulate it, your ability to kind of use tropes and like turn it into something that's a wonderful story. But as far as actually selling the movie goes, like, I don't know, I just think it's silly. I think art for the sake of capital is fucking silly. With that, Tony, would you like to give any like wrap up or final thoughts?
Once again, this is like a testament to you can make shit happen if you like care enough about it. You can go out there and do anything that sounds like crazy and weird and bizarre. It can work somehow. It's going to take a lot of work on your end, and it's going to take a lot of support from people around you to make the thing happen. It's going to take a lot, but, it's worth the try, because every now and again you'll end up with Dusk Till Dawn, and, even the shittiest movie made by people is a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your fucking, your last little bit. I don't know. It's good. I like it. You should just go out and watch it, bro. Watch it again. Do it again.
Watch it again.
Because we know that you watched it. Now, you'd better have watched it.
And if you somehow managed to go and just decide to watch this and get everything spoiled when you hadn't seen it, shame on you, but actually, please watch the movie. And if you maybe, like, went into the first half, I really hope that you actually sat down and watched the movie before you had this. Because, I don't know, I think this movie's a fucking gem that would go on to inspire one of the highest grossing movies of last year. Sinners would not exist in the fashion it does without this movie. And had Sinners, like this movie should have been marketed, had Sinners been marketed just as like
a gangster flick,
and that's it, because you could totally do that for that movie's first hour.
Yeah, you'd have fucking absolutely blown the minds and the fucking penises off of every person in America.
It was like, it's one of those things, like, I remember when we watched that in theaters, we both talked about afterwards, like, oh, you forget that there's going to be vampires in this until you get to that shot of the dude jumping over the camera and he's smoking as he's running through the fucking sunny desert and shit. No, I don't know. Genre is important as far as like what you can use it for, but as far as like a necessary thing that you have to use to like sell your movie, that's fucking stupid. And I find the purpose of that to be really stupid. Anyways, From Dusk Till Dawn, great movie. Tony, happy I was able to show you that fairly unscathed. nothing you knew about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, Tony, do you have any little hints that you want to give for your next episode?
I regret making this a fucking thing. No, we're just gonna dive back into darkness again. I'll let you guys fucking just have this for now. let's just bask in the fucking glory and the blood for right now, because shit's gonna get sad. It's gonna get real fucking sad real fucking quick. See y'all next time.